Okay, this is my no items or equipment playthrough of Fallout New Vegas. I went with a 10 strength, 10 endurance, and 8 agility build. Basically the same as what I did with Fallout 3. And there sort of isn't too much to running Fallout New Vegas without any items or equipment. You just have to get your speech high enough to be at 100. If you have speech 100, science 75, you can basically get there for nothing. So I ran pretty much directly to New Vegas, past the death claws and stuff, because it's the easiest way to get there. And I was trying to not use caps as much as I could, but the easiest way to get into the strip without otherwise using anything is to just gamble until you have enough caps. So I gambled until I had 2,000 caps, but I wasn't planning on otherwise spending any money. So I pretty much just went through this. Blackjack is the easiest thing you can do. So there's about 2,000 caps. I think that's how much you need. It's been a while since I just played New Vegas for the credit check. And so I ended up going with the Yes Man ending ultimately because you can skip most of the game. So here's the credit check stuff. See, 2,000 caps. Because there's so many quests that might require you, like I was trying to have an empty inventory too, as much as I could. So the easiest way to deal with Benny when you're playing this way, trying not to use anything, is I grabbed the Black Widow perk, and then when I hit level 2, I think, and then you just use the Black Widow perk to kill him through dialogue options and stuff. So you sort of sweet talk him, and then that lures him up to his suite, and you sleep with him basically, and then that was to help with getting to speech 100, I'm pretty sure, going with educated. You sweet talk him, and then you get a dialogue option after you sleep with him. See, kill Benny in his sleep. That's the easiest way to kill him if you aren't using anything. And then Yes Man's literally in the room next door, and you can get the platinum chip. Obviously, I had to allow myself that bare minimum of picking up main quest items, or else I'd have to use glitches to get around stuff. And I prefer to play in a realistic way. Most people wouldn't use glitches. So I went to Mr. House, I gave him the chip. I didn't replace Yes Man right away because I thought it would be easier to go to the fort maybe first and deal with that stuff. But Mr. House doesn't help you in the fort around where Caesar is at all. I didn't remember if he did or not. So it kind of doesn't make a difference if you get rid of House before the Caesar fort stuff or after. So that's me going to the fort. The issue I had here is this place ends up being a DPS check or a skill check. So if you have 75 science, you can just hack some computers and disable all the defenses. I didn't build my character that way, and that would have been easier, of course. I went with making an unarmed character. And the problem is, you can level up eventually enough that your offense is so high that you'll be knocking people over and penetrating their armor and stuff. So you'll even be able to destroy things without any equipment whatsoever. But my issue was I didn't have pretty much any damage mitigation, and I just wasn't a high enough level to DPS to get past this. And I tried this several times to make sure. And I thought, well, I can get the Ranger takedown move at least, and that should probably help me. So I went back, I talked to Andy, and you just have to pass a simple speech check to get the Ranger takedown move. And what's good about it is, even though I don't have the ability to just randomly knock down people when I'm punching them, the Ranger takedown move lets you trip someone, so you get crowd control. And this is me trying to test it out, test out the inputs to make sure. I stop for a second, because the issue with it is you have to move back, and those protectrons, they don't chase you, they shoot at you. So you have to step back from them. So what you pretty much have to do is you have to get them close to a wall and then back into the wall to be able to trip them. But if you can pull it off, it's possible to CC them enough to be able to kill them, because they won't fight back. But it's hard to get them to stay close enough to a wall to be able to hit them with the takedown move, because they tend to move too much. So my issue was I can't do this consistently, and I'm barely just not capable enough of clearing out the defenses here. See, it will work, and if you can pull it off consistently against them, they're just done. They can't really fight you. That's what can make unarmed overpowered in this game. So my compromise that I made for this, and some might argue it's not really a compromise, I went ahead with getting the subdermal armor. I'll get to that, but because this was so difficult and I was so close on the edge, my reasoning was, okay, either I need to grind levels somehow, or I have to compromise and let myself gamble just enough so that I can get the subdermal armor. And so I just went ahead with compromising. I only bought 200 chips because that's the max bet in the vanilla game is 200. So you need like 8,000 caps for the subdermal armor upgrade. Now it's still, all of this is still me not using items or equipment, because the subdermal armor upgrade is a perk. That's the result of me having 5 luck, is it was like a 50-50 shot constantly when gambling. And that's me winning a last hand. See? And then I cash my chips in. So I could still have gambled enough to get most of the useful perks. Like the Phoenix regen perk thing is pretty much always useful, and I have high endurance, so I could have cheated the system a little bit by doing this more, but I'm trying to do the minimum. So to me it goes against the spirit of what I'm trying to do. It runs like this that I do. I have a specific goal of using as little as I can possibly get away with. And this is the one big thing I had to purchase. And it's just a few points of damage mitigation. So if I went with a 75 science instead, sort of high intelligence, high endurance build, I could just bypass the fort and I wouldn't really have to worry about fighting at all. And the issue with fighting in the fort like this, see, I'll be strong enough, but the issue with trying to fight your way through it and having such low damage and damage mitigation is you pick up a lot of radiation. And so you have to end up with radiation sickness. And because I'm trying not to use caps as much as I can get away with, I have to not go to a doctor to heal my radiation. So I wasn't even using doctors or anything. Like, I'm literally trying to use nothing if I can get away with it, aside from main quest items. So, see, it still takes a long time to just destroy the Protectrons. The turrets don't nearly have as much health, or it's just damage mitigation, one or the other. So I pretty much had to run in, kill something, run out, sleep in a bed, until I cleared enough of the defenses. See, this is me taking out a turret. There were 2 Protectrons in this room. I had to do this until I took defenses down enough that when I ran through the fort to put in the platinum chip, I wasn't going to take on too much damage for me to be able to survive. And just having that tiny bit of damage mitigation from the subdermal armor was enough for me to close that gap. I didn't want to turn this. This was a 5.5 hour playthrough. I could have turned it into like a 10 or 20 hour playthrough just grinding, or, you know, whatever I could do to get my level high enough where this stuff wouldn't matter. But again, I think trying to power level past everything is another kind of compromise when I'm trying to have this attitude of being a little bit minimalistic in whatever way I can get away with. See, so this is what I had to deal with. I didn't take on as much attacks as I usually did, even just getting this far. Usually I'd get this far and just any slight hit would kill me because I'd have pretty much 0 health. So I actually, on my last run, this is a successful run, I actually didn't take much damage anyways. So I broke into where Mr. House is, and this is me taking him out. There's an elevator near where Mr. House's computer is in the penthouse, and you just take that elevator down, and this is where it leads you, and this is how you just take him out. You just let him out of his little chamber thing. And you can decide to kill him, but that's all I did to him, is let him out. And then you take Yes Man there. And then all you have to do for Yes Man is meet the various groups, and then you can say to ignore them, the various factions in the game. Then he makes you run over to the substation, power station, and I just ran past them, the NCR, they didn't do anything, and then I activated the substation, which was really easy, and I ran out. If they're inside the substation, they aggro on you. If they're outside, they kind of ignore you. Or if you're hostile against the NCR, I think they might go after you on site. But then you can just go directly to the Battle of Hoover Dam like it's nothing. This is the first speech check you need to pass, and it's 75. And then they just run off, and you don't have to fight anybody. And this is so you can upload Yes Man into the computer in the Hoover Dam. It's also, you can upload Mr. House too if you side with Mr. House. So I sent power to the fort, and then I just pretty much ran to where the legate was. You don't have to fight anybody if you have high speech. You can hear them punching me at me with pneumatic fists and stuff. I think agility might affect your walking speed, and I have 8 agility. So that might be why they couldn't catch up to me. And then this is where the legate is. And all you have to do is talk him down. And you can even talk him into a one-on-one fight instead of just talking him down. But if your speech is high enough, you just tell him that he's overstretching with Caesar's Legion, and they're not going to hold anything, and they're going to be like the NCR in collapse. And he goes, okay, I guess I'll give up and leave then. So I'm sure you can do this with unarmed, no items only, but you have to power level up to get the various melee and unarmed perks. I hit level 10 just mostly from doing the main quest. I got a few levels, I think, before that. But see, you just talk down General Oliver or whatever. You just talk to him and he's done. I threw him off the dam. See, that's all it takes. It's mostly just getting past the fort and dealing with Legate Lanius. So